So now that we have a bunch of new Macs and macOS Sequoia is out, I wanted to do an updated video on some of my favorite apps that I think you guys should check out. I didn't want to cover the most familiar ones that everyone knows of, things like Final Cut Pro, Chrome, Photoshop, and other stuff like that. I feel like most people know what they are. I wanted to cover things that I feel like are a bit more unique. You may have heard me mention them on the channel in the past, but I really do think they're worth checking out. And some of these apps aren't just necessarily Mac apps, they are also web apps, which I think are worth sharing. So first up is an app called Sleeve that I have in the bottom left corner of my screen. I get a lot of questions about this, and it is just a media player for Spotify. You can also hook it up to Apple Music, I think, as well. And all it does is show me the album art, the song title, and the artist. I can even have the album name if I want to. And it's very simple. It just sits in the bottom left of my screen. You can put it anywhere you like on the screen, really. You can customize it. There are a bunch of customization options. And of course, you can pause and play the music. You can change the size of it. There is just a bunch of customization. Super simple utility. I like to be able to see what is playing on my Spotify at all times, because when I'm sitting at my desk, I'm usually working alone. I always have music playing all the time. So I just like being able to see what's playing. Next up, we have Figma. So I'm sure many of you will already be aware of Figma, but I use Figma for pretty much anything and everything graphic related. So especially when it comes to my website designs, my wallpapers, branding, emails, all these sorts of things that require any sort of graphical work, I usually use Figma. I don't usually touch Photoshop unless I'm actually doing some photo editing, photo adjustments, whatever. So yeah, Figma, I use it for pretty much anything, everything. You can see it here. I have some stuff for iPhone Creator Course in here. I have a Framer website that I put together. I designed in Figma. YouTube thumbnails as well. I actually use it for all of my YouTube thumbnails. And yeah, you can see it's actually quite satisfying seeing all these thumbnails, isn't it? There's a lot of thumbnails in here, especially these iPhone ones. These iPhone ones look great. But yeah, because obviously YouTube has A/B testing for thumbnails, I usually like to put together at least 3 thumbnails and see what YouTube chooses. I would definitely recommend learning something like Figma, because I feel like the learning curve is super easy, super simple. It's really not that hard once you get the basics. And you don't need to take any crazy courses or expensive courses or anything. Like, there is a YouTube tutorial out there for pretty much anything and everything related to Figma. I just think it's a very useful program to know how to use. Next up, we have a web app, Mobin, who are also sponsoring this video. Mobin is basically a place where you can find all of the UI inspiration that you need when it comes to mobile app design. The key thing here, that all of the designs that you see here are actual real world designs. They aren't just concepts that you see on Dribble, on Twitter or whatever. These are actual screenshots of apps that are out there in the world that people are actually using. The idea is that instead of having to manually download all of these apps and see their sort of flows and their screens and whatever else, you have access to everything here on Mobin. So I can see certain apps that I like, so I can go to filters and stuff. I can see app categories. You can see so many here. I can see trending things as well. I can see certain popular apps like maybe Airbnb. I can see their whole flow pretty much. I can see all of the screens that are available in Airbnb. There are 508 screens here, which is pretty wild. But knowing that I have access to all of these screens without actually having to download the app and go through it myself just makes life a lot easier. And you're not just limited to apps. You can, of course, see web design inspiration. So they have a web section as well where you can see all sorts of inspiration from all sorts of apps. So maybe we want to look at Dropbox, one of my favorite apps. And you can see all the screens that I have, 416 screens. You can see how they design their platforms, because obviously the designers at a company like Dropbox, they're incredible designers. They're putting a lot of effort and time into these designs. So being able to see what they've put together can hopefully inspire you when it comes to making your own designs. The search and filters functionality is super powerful. You can, of course, see trending stuff. You can see app categories. You can see different types of screens, marketing pages, UI elements, and flows. Flows is a big one. I think flows for me especially is very, very useful, because when I'm trying to work out the flow of an app or a website or whatever, it can be quite hard actually. It's not that easy. So I can see something like Klarna here. I can see their splash screen all the way to sort of creating an account and getting to the sort of main homepage of the app. And of course, if there's anything that you see that you really like, you can save it. You can save it to different collections. You can create your own collection. I can just create a collection here for landing pages, like so. Create, and then when I go to my profile, I can see the landing pages collection and I can see it in there. So make sure to check out Mobin. I'll leave a link to it down in the description below. Next up, we have an app called Eagle. So Eagle is essentially a bookmarking app for images and videos. So this is what I primarily use when it comes to saving anything on the internet. So especially when it comes to sort of photography, UI elements, icons, and things like that, I found it incredibly useful to just save stuff in here. But what makes it really powerful is that it saves it in the highest quality version. So if you've used Pinterest in the past, you know how much of a pain it can be to retain the quality on Pinterest. It doesn't actually save it at the highest quality, it compresses it down. Eagle doesn't do that. It saves it at the highest quality that you need. So you can see I have a ton of stuff saved in here. I have this picture here of a keyboard, and it is very, very high quality. I can zoom into it and I can see the resolution, I can see the size, I can see when I imported it, I can even see where I got it from. So I can see I found this image on Twitter. Other stuff as well, something like this, like, you know, it saves it in the highest quality possible. This is 4000 by 1300, and you can see how high quality that is. It's just a very useful way for me to collect things across the web, and it even saves video. And the best thing about the video functionality is that when you hover over it, the video plays automatically. You can of course change the density, so you can make the images bigger or smaller, however you like. There's just so much that you can do with Eagle. It's super, super powerful. And what I also really like about it is that I have it hooked into my Dropbox. So when I save any images, it saves them to a library, an Eagle library, which is saved in my Dropbox. So then when I move from machine to machine, I can then load up that library on whatever machine. And I can also share the library with any team members. So I can share it with someone in the office or whatever. They can see all the same images and videos that I've saved. And they can also add images and videos of their own to the library. So yeah, super powerful sort of bookmarking, image bookmarking, video bookmarking app that I use all the time. Next up is Cleanshot X. So Cleanshot X is basically a screenshotting and video recording screen app for your Mac. So you can use it to obviously take screenshots, take videos. I'm actually using it right now to record the screen for this very video, and it's super powerful. You can record your own voice, you can record audio, you can have it track clicks and stuff. You can even choose things like resolution, aspect ratio, which is very, very useful for me, especially when I'm doing screen recordings for videos. The annotations functionality is also elite, being able to quickly sort of take a screenshot and blur out things that I need to, or highlight things or whatever. It just makes it super easy to annotate any images. It doesn't even have to be a screenshot. It can just be some other image that I've come across online, because it's not as heavy as something like Photoshop. So you can quickly open it, make any annotations that you like, and quickly send it to anyone that you need to. Next up is Raycast, and Raycast is basically a Spotlight replacement. So I don't use Spotlight at all anymore. I have Command Space now tied to Raycast. And Raycast, yeah, it's just a more powerful Spotlight, I like to see it as. It's like a shortcut for anything and everything. So of course I can use it to access Final Cut Pro and all these other apps that I have, my 1Password, record screen, whatever I need to do. But you can see here, as I scroll down, there are other commands as well. So I can do things like keep my Mac awake with Caffeinate. I can pick a color, I can search emojis, search files, search folders, search for GIFs. You can even control your lights, your Philips Hue lights in here. So if you have Philips Hue lights, instead of opening up the Philips Hue app on your phone or whatever, you can just control them right from here. Notion is also in here. You can do things like confetti. So if I do that, it shows some confetti. Yeah, it's just like little things like that. If we scroll down, I can also see that I can control Spotify. And there's all these different commands here. Anti-trash, toggle system appearance. There's so much you can do with it. And of course you can do calculations and stuff as well. So maybe I just want to convert like £30,000 to dollars. It will do it automatically. Or maybe I want to do it to dirhams, AD, and it will do that as well. So yeah, Raycast, it's free. I would highly, highly recommend it. It's a great Spotlight replacement, and you can really make it do so many different things without having to download other apps to do those things. So next up is an app called Yoink, which I love the name. Yoink is brilliant. But yeah, Yoink is basically an app that helps you move files across your Mac. So if you ever had this issue where you find a folder, you find the files, but then, you know, finding the other folder that you want to put it in, it's just going to take too long. So what you can do is you can grab whatever files you like and you drag it, and you can just put it onto this sort of sidebar thing here. You put it onto there and your files are there waiting for you. Then you can go to wherever you need to go to. So maybe I want to go to like my downloads folder. I can then move them to here. Just a very useful utility when it comes to moving files around on your Mac. So next up is a browser replacement called Arc. I have fully switched to Arc now. I don't even use Safari anymore. I use Arc on my Mac. I use Arc on my phone. I also use Arc on my Windows PC. And Arc, it's hard to explain how useful Arc is until you use it yourself. It is based on Chrome, which is already awesome because it means you can use all the extensions that Chrome has on Arc. And you can see here with Arc, instead of having a tab bar at the top, you have all your tabs on the left. And I feel like it just makes it so much easier to have a bunch of tabs going all at once and being able to see what the tabs are. Like, websites are designed to be narrow. So having your sort of, I guess, vertical space taken up by more tabs doesn't really make sense when you really think about it. I think it makes more sense to have your tabs on the left-hand side, and that's what Arc can really do. Of course, there are a bunch of other features of Arc that make it very, very useful, but this is the main feature that I like. And of course, I can go through all my tabs very, very easily, very quickly. And it's just awesome. Like, it works so, so well. What also makes Arc very, very powerful is that you can have shortcuts at the top left. So you can have bookmarks or whatever to websites that you always go to. But there is another key feature which I love about Arc, and is that you can have spaces. So you can swipe on the tab bar to go to a different space, and these spaces can act as another browser within Arc. So they can have completely different logins, completely different browser history, completely different cookies, whatever else. So this is very useful if you have something like a work setup and a personal setup, or maybe you have like a design setup and a development setup and a home sort of project setup or whatever. You can have different spaces for all of those different things. So I have my main space here, which I use, and then I have a space for my other YouTube channel, and then I have a sort of public space here, and then I have a PC one as well, so I can see all the tabs on my PC, because I like to keep it separate. It's just a great way to separate all of your sort of browsing stuff, all your internet needs, into different spaces. I would highly recommend checking out Arc. It's free. I think it's free to use. It's free to download. And even on iOS, the browsing experience on iOS is incredible. I found that it's just as smooth as Safari, but a lot more useful because there's a lot more features and functionality. Next up is SetApp, and SetApp is basically Netflix for Mac apps. I would highly recommend it because I think it's like $10 a month and you get access to all these different apps. A lot of the apps that I've actually mentioned in this video are already available on SetApp, so you don't have to pay for them separately. And yeah, you save a lot of money going through something like SetApp, and you get access to so many different apps that are just ready to go, ready to work in here. Yeah, highly recommend SetApp. It is Netflix for apps. Next, we have an app called N10. So N10 is super simple. It's basically like a to-do list app or a to-do task app or whatever that you can have on your screen at all times. It doesn't go away until you finish the task. And it's just a super simple utility. You can also set a timer to the task, so maybe you want to concentrate on that task for 10 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours, whatever it might be. The idea is that you're just focused on the task that you need to do, so you don't get distracted. And it even pulses if you need it to. Super simple utility. Next up, we have Reflex. So Reflex is basically a way to control what the media buttons do on your keyboard. So for older versions of macOS, like I'm talking like 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 years ago, the media controls only used to control the actual media app on your Mac, whether that was iTunes, Spotify, or whatever. But somewhere along the line, Apple changed that so that the media controls control anything that is currently playing on your Mac, whether that's Spotify, whether that's a YouTube video, whether that's like a Twitter video, or just whatever. I don't like that functionality. That functionality actually is quite annoying to me, mainly because I always have Spotify playing in the background. So if I have Spotify playing in the background and then I'll open up a YouTube video and I try to pause Spotify with the media controls, it doesn't pause Spotify, it pauses the YouTube video. That's not what I want. I want it to pause Spotify, and that's what Reflex does. I have it locked to Spotify, and you can even change what the volume controls do. You can have it adjust the system volume or the music app volume. Just a much more consistent way of knowing what the media controls are doing. Next up is an app called Inner, something like that. It is basically a media player app. It's a QuickTime replacement that can play pretty much anything and everything, and you can even open links in it. So you can open sort of streams and stuff in there, if you know what I mean. Like you can sort of open anything. I just find it a lot easier, a lot more useful than something like QuickTime. And of course you can replace QuickTime with it. It is similar in design to QuickTime, just has a lot of the features and functionality that you'd want from a player that can do more things. Next up, we have Web Studio, which is more of a web app rather than a Mac app. And Web Studio, if you've ever used sort of Webflow or Framer, any of those sort of no-code website builders, Web Studio is like those, but free. Like it's literally free. The only time you pay is when you host a website with them, but you can actually just make a website in Web Studio and then download it. It's much cheaper than Webflow and Framer, so you are saving a lot of money. There is a bit of a learning curve, but if you're someone like me who understands and knows how to build most types of websites, and you know how code generally works, this is super, super useful. It's a great way to make high quality websites without having to pay crazy fees when it comes to other software. Now, that doesn't mean that Webflow and Figma don't have their place, especially when it comes to client facing stuff, especially when it comes to things that just work out of the box, because obviously this takes a bit more work. But this is just an awesome piece of software that I just think is worth recommending. And the creator of Web Studio is also an ex-employee of Webflow. So he already has a lot of experience in the space. Just a cool website builder. And then we have an app called Downy, which is the most terrible name for an app ever. Like, I don't know what they were thinking, but it is an awesome app. And Downy is an app that can basically download anything and everything on the web when it comes to video. So when you want to download a video from something like YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, you can use Downy to download it. You can, of course, download videos from other websites, if you know what I mean. I really do mean any type of video, you can download it. So I've copied a YouTube link already. I can paste it into Downy and it starts preparing the link. It is just my own iPhone review. You can have it do different processing. Now that it's ready to download, you can see I can change the codec. I can choose AV1, WebM, MP4. I can choose different resolutions. I can also do some post-processing. So if I need to convert it to MP4 or extract the audio only, then I can simply press start to start downloading it and it will start downloading it. It is super useful, an incredible app just to download any type of video from any type of website on the internet. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll of course leave links to everything down in the description below. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter and subscribe for more.